hate you. I hate you so much. Why did you happen? Why did it happen? Okay, let's talk about Star Trek The Final Frontier, which isn't even the last movie in this series of movies, so why did you call it The Final Frontier? There's another one. That's like, I hate when movies do that. They call it like The Last Stand or The Final Chapter, and then there's like 4 more afterwards. But, hypothetical sequels aside, let's talk about The Final Fucking... First of all, what's the point of this movie? It has nothing to do with anything! Like, it doesn't tie in to The Wrath of Khan or The Search for Spock or The Voyage Home, which is like a good trilogy on its own. This is just a standalone thing. Like, the studio went, screw it, we have to compete with Batman and Indiana Jones, so we're gonna make Star Trek, and we're gonna make William Shatner direct it. Good fucking idea! You nailed it. Right out of the park. This movie is utterly forgettable. It's got the worst villain of all time. It's got really awful effects. Like, everything about this movie feels like it took a step backwards from a movie like The Voyage Home, which was fantastic. I mean, this movie's got shitty costumes, terrible effects, totally forgettable sounds and music. Again, a really terrible villain who's Spock's brother. Is that important? No! Because we never fucking talk about it ever again! So what... Just, I don't get what the point of this movie is. It's just, it's budget, it's terrible. Don't see this movie. That's why I'm going to review it right now for you, so you don't ever have to watch The Final Frontier. Good day! So, let's talk about the premise of this so-called movie. Sybok, who's Spock's brother, because Spock has a brother who's never talked about ever again, is gonna go to the center of the galaxy to find God. Or God. It's basically Zordon. He basically goes to the center of the universe to talk to Zordon, and then Zordon's just evil. He's an evil alien, he shoots Kirk with laser beams, the eye beams, and... because Kirk basically goes, what does God mean to the starship? Which is like the only fucking memorable line in this movie. Everything else is just whatever. There's 2 good parts to this movie. The camping scene... and the scene where Kirk kind of stands up to God. And that's it. Like, it's got a terrible fight scene at the end where they, like, kill this alien thing. It's got this really awful, like, Mad Max sequence where they're on, like, a desert planet trying to get Sybok. It's just... and, like, Uhura's dancing with these big leaves. She's, like, 65! That's not sex appeal, it's just awful! It's just, it's like Scotty lap dancing on Sulu. Like, just stop it! Just stop it. Just stop it! So, I've said before that some movies feel like church. Well, this movie just is church. It's preachy, it's in your face. You can take away your pain. We have to search for God, and there's God, and you don't question God, and it's God. It's just, everything about this movie is just in your face with all these just little things that you don't want. In a Star Trek movie, it's way too preachy. It feels like you're sitting in a sermon listening to a guy tell you how shitty you've been your entire life. That's what it is. It's God is good and we are shit. That's this movie. And we are shit because we're watching this movie. So let's talk about the characters in this movie. Who cares? You got Sybok. This dude. Does anybody remember Sybok? I mean, Khan was awesome because he was charismatic and menacing and, like, very intimidating. Hell, I'll take Krug over this guy because Krug was at least, like, kind of wacky and fought a dick monster on his arm. Like, he had some moments. This guy, he, like, brainwashes you, takes away your pain and all this stuff. It's just, he's so forgettable. And it sucks because they were going to get Sean Connery to play him, which would have been awesome, but instead they got, I don't know, he looks like my doctor. Like, I don't even know who this guy is. He's best known for this movie. I don't know what his name is. Do you? And again, we get the entire crew of the Enterprise back, but it all feels so forced at this point. I don't know what it is about it. Like, you could have done something really cool with the Enterprise because it was destroyed, and you could have just made a whole new one, but nope. We just used the same model. Instead of innovating, I don't know, we didn't have a budget, I guess. Because it feels like this movie's really rushed. And again, all the characters in this movie just feel like they don't give a shit. Like, Shatner just feels like he's giving a performance to himself because he directed it. And everybody else just is kind of like, whatever. It's just, it was 1989 and my favorite movie came out being Batman. And then this came out. And Star Trek, you're better than this. And luckily, the next one, The Undiscovered Country, because The Final Frontier isn't the last one, oddly enough, The Undiscovered Country is way better. So we have that to look forward to, I guess. So I don't want to drag this on anymore. Don't see this movie. This movie is 106 hours of nothing. And believe me, it feels like 106 hours. Damn it, Jim. That's why my overall score for this movie is a terrible 2 out of 10. I'm not even saying the transwarp thing, because this movie just doesn't deserve it. It's a 2, terrible 2s out of 10. It's got a lousy soundtrack, lousy costumes, no action, bad effects, just a terrible, preachy, in-your-face story that doesn't have any payoff at the end. They just shoot the thing with a bird of prey, and pfft, that's it. Awesome ending fight scene. Just awesome. You nailed it. It's a 2 out of 10. Avoid this movie at all costs. But don't worry, The Undiscovered Country is vastly superior, and that's coming up next. So as always, thank you so much for watching this review and supporting the show. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. And don't forget to leave me a comment of your thoughts on this movie. If you loved it, and if you did, what's wrong with you? And more importantly, if you hated it, because I feel like that's the more appropriate approach to this movie. And as always, I will see you all on the very next episode of Tender Gaming. Thank you so much for watching, and until then, make it so, number one. It's over. It's over. It's over. It's over.